Hi guys, welcome back to my podcast. I know it's been a while. I have been Slackaroony McGee. I have been catching flights left, right, and center. Forgot that I had a podcast to run, which is terrible. But I really want to speak to you guys when I have something to say. And the truth of the matter is, believe it or not, sometimes I actually have nothing to say. I know I wouldn't have thought those words would ever come out of my mouth, but it is the truth. So I've been busy traveling, but along that journey, don't worry, I have some takeaways for you guys, which I always keep note of and think to myself, that is for the big A. So I save these conversations for you. This podcast episode is all about getting your ducks in order, or getting your eggs in your basket, or things into place. You guys know what I'm trying to get at here. Don't believe in the perfect time. I don't believe that you're ever going to be fully ready. I believe you just have to get started, and then you become your most ready version on that journey of whatever you're trying to achieve and complete, right? But there's a little story I want to tell you guys before we get into this. Moral is you have to create room around you for the right things to come in. Think it's either from the book E Squared or it's from the book The Secret. I've read them all, but I can't remember which one it's from. But it's basically about this girl that really wants to buy a new car. She has got her finances in order. She has worked really hard to be able to afford this car. She's doing everything in her power to get this car, but the deal just keeps falling through. She then has an epiphany. She's like, my God, my garage is full of storage and memorabilia and so many things that I need to get rid of. I don't even have space for a car. Even if I want this car so badly, I don't have space for this car. And spends the whole weekend cleaning out her garage, making room, emphasis on room. The following Monday, the car is hers. It's in her garage. And that is such a beautiful little story for making room for things to come in and getting your ducks in order to allow yourself to hit that jackpot, okay? And I say this because this year has been so important for me. I have experienced so many highs and lows, more than I actually ever have. And this year has also just gone by in a blink of an eye. I think it's because for a lot of it, I've been in fight or flight mode, trying to just have some kind of emotional balance, because this year has really, really tested me emotionally. I have been in so many uncomfortable places and situations this year. However, what's ironic though is every beginning of the year, I write my 10 goals. I've done it every year, but this year I've blasted through them. But one of the goals was become really strong, because I don't know why I always, and I think I've mentioned this before, I've always kind of seen myself as weaker than I actually am. I found it really hard to call myself a woman. I don't know why, the words wouldn't come out. I've seen myself as this little girl that's kind of naive and fairy-like and floating through, and everything's so holly jolly. And everything is holly jolly if you choose to see it as holly jolly. But the reality is a lot of things aren't very holly jolly, and a lot of people can't meet you at your holly jolliness. I don't know. It's I always knew I was capable of achieving what I wanted to achieve, but I didn't have the gumption. And this is one of my favorite words. I learned it a couple months ago and I've nonstop been using it. But gumption is spark. It's the fire in you. If you see a person that's just full of it, you're she's full of gumption. I didn't really have that. So one of my goals was become stronger. I have a very close relationship with God. I love God. I pray every day. Always ask God to give me strength and every day be a little bit better, a bit stronger, a bit more compassionate, patient, understanding, calm, all these kinds of things. And I'm no wonder I have had so many ups and downs this year because God has been answering my prayers. Like, God has put these things in my way to overcome, to know within myself that I am capable and stronger than I would have ever imagined. Like, being a real epiphany that now I'm like, okay, I am a woman. Like, I can do it. Basically, this year of the ups and downs has really been me getting my ducks in order. And now I'm so full focused on my work, and I just really want to achieve the things that I have in my head, and I really want to make it tangible for me and for the people around me. And I was having this conversation with a friend the other day. We were speaking about dreams, and every person, right, has dreams. Like, every person has goals and dreams and things they want to achieve. And there's the people that will absolutely achieve it. Some of them are destined to achieve it. Some of them create their own destiny and no matter what, make it. You know what I mean? Like, they know and they move through fire and they do it. And then there's some that just aren't capable of it, whether it's societal environments, upbringing, mentality, and they go down different paths in their life. The people who know what they want to achieve and know they're going to do it, it's almost like our duty to do it for the people that can't do it, because not everyone achieves their dreams. And it's a sad reality, but it's the truth. These trajectories you go on and these paths, you've got to move with intention and you've got to create that space for the right things to come in. And my kind of downfall this year and kind of where I've let myself down is I have been giving my time and attention to guys that aren't really the right ones for me. I didn't know it in the whole situation, but looking back, it's like great guys, I'm not going to talk bad about them, but I have been giving a stupid amount of energy to people that just don't deserve it, that aren't good for me, and I'm almost knowing that they're not good for me, but it's like a drug, it's like it really takes a hold of you. And I forgive myself for that because I'm a lot more knowing now and I'm a lot more stern in like, if I don't feel like it's right, I'm just going to exit, I didn't have that necessarily so much before because I always had hope and I always believed too much in potential. I obviously, I have so many stories that I would love to share. But a lot of these guys watch this podcast, not so comfortable exploiting people. I don't think it's good. And I want to keep like a fine line and a boundary. However, I will tell you a funny story of something that happened very recently that I was just like, what the actual cockadoodle do? Like, what goes through people's head? Like, some people are so weird. There was a guy that I was getting to know years ago, okay? And we were like kind of dating, and he out of the blue posted a story with a girl. So I kind of took it in my head. I was like, okay, well, that's my time to tap out. I didn't realize there was another girl in the picture. Gracefully exited that one. It wasn't that deep. Didn't really pay much attention. I feel comfortable saying this because the guy will never watch this. We have literally nothing to do with one another. And I think he's blocked on my social media anyways. He then got engaged with this girl. They were together for some time, and throughout that he kept messaging me, and I didn't respond obviously because what a dodgy guy. Anyways, their engagement got called off. Haven't heard a thing about this guy in the longest time. 2 days ago, he sends me the link to his baby registry. You don't know what a baby registry is? It's when you put a list of things that you want for your baby, and your friends and family, they contribute. But I'm like, why the fuck would I contribute to your baby? What? Congratulations to you and your girl. I don't even know who the girl is for creating life and stuff. But why on earth would I contribute? In what world does that make sense? And I looked at it and I was like, this can't be real. Who in their right mind thinks that's normal? A girl you were trying to bang 2 years ago that you were talking to whilst you were the whole thing was so confusing to me. And that's why I just feel for right now, I've really not got to entertain any men right now. Like, I find dating really, really hard. I don't know why, don't know what about it, but like I've met so many different guys this year. They've all been so extremely different, and they all utterly confuse me, that I genuinely feel like I need to create room and like focus on what I can control, which is my work and like my inner happiness, and like do my best and grind and get myself to the next level of the woman I want to be. I'm never going to say to like the peak of womanhood, because I don't think, one, I don't think you ever really reach that. And I think ultimately like the big goal is, one, to have my established career, and two, to have kids and a husband. And that's going to take some time. So it's like just like the next level of like confidence, strength, business savviness, all these things that I'm working on. Now the men have to just go on pause, because yeah, I feel like I've just been really confused, and like, you know, there'll be a guy that I really like, but he's just not cutting it. And then I feel like I'm lowering my standards, and then I'm like, but aren't my standards low enough? Like, or are they through the roof? Like, I don't know. I'm super, super confused. And for me, like, I always thought dating was so easy. Like, I never used to overthink these things. But I guess because I have gone through a lot, like, I'm so cautious now of like what energy I want to invite into my life. Because if I like a guy, I really like a guy, you know, like I want him in my home. I want to cook for him. I want him around me. I want to speak to him all the time. Like, he is really absorbed. And then, you know, obviously when you start liking a person, you start considering them in your every move. It's normal, you know, it's like, oh, I'm going to travel here for the weekend. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Or like, I'm going to go out tonight, just to let you know I'm going out tonight. Like, no, I'm home now. You know, like there's so many smaller things and bigger things you think about when you like a person, because you start kind of considering them as your, you know, as the one next to you, you know, and that's like super, super normal. But I feel like I've been doing that for guys that aren't doing it for me, you know, which is not a big deal. It's really not a big deal. I'm happy to give, but I feel like I haven't been receiving. And I also feel a bit scared to receive. It's very bizarre, you guys. I do not have the answers. I really, really don't know. But yeah, like the more I receive, I also feel scared, because I feel like I need to give back. Recently, because of my priorities, I feel like I can't give back the way I want to. And then I also feel scared to receive, because I don't know if it's coming from a genuine place. Because I'm sure, well, I'm really hoping that when the right guy comes, this won't be an issue. You know what I mean? Like, it will just fall into place. Oh my God, it's just started thundering down. Is this a sign from God that I'm on the right path? Guys, can you hear the rain? But it's sunny, so I feel like it must be a sign. Moving on from that, the mind body is very confusing at times, because like I just stare at Reva's blankie here, which I sleep with every night. I don't care if that's cringe, but it's so bizarre, your mind, body, emotions, and all of it, because I'll be so fine, and then the smallest thing will just trigger me, and I will be hysterically crying. And I guess again, it's just the learning curve, that healing is so, there's like nothing linear about it. Like absolutely nothing linear about it. These waves come and go, and I guess like maybe it's because when you go through like really hard times and heartbreak, it takes such an emotional toll on your body that even if your mind feels like everything is okay and you're doing good, your body still remembers like the emotions stored, and I guess sometimes they just need to be released. And I feel like I'm still releasing a lot of emotions from this year. And so yeah, I guess, like there's 1 month left of the year, and I just want to work on spending time with my safe people, because unfortunately there's been quite a lot of people that I am leaving behind in this year and have been kind of left behind over the months. But there has been a core group of people that I started the year with and I'll be ending the year with, just like it's been the case the last 7+ years. And I'm like, wow, I'm so grateful. I've got such amazing people in my life that are there for me, and that are like my rocks. I've got like a lot of rocks in my life, and I'm so grateful for that. So I guess for this next month, I just want to focus on being with my safe people and focus on being a better podcaster for you guys and keeping my content going, and all those things, because yeah, unfortunately life can distract you, and I've been distracted a lot of this year, and I don't want that. I really don't. It's like time to get my head down. And yeah, it's always kind of like a bittersweet thing to look back at the year, because you see how much you've grown and things have changed around you, but you do see how much you've had to leave behind too. But that's just chapters, like people come and go, situations come and go. There's always like a light at the end of the tunnel. And I think as well, like it's so true that God has joined all the dots already. Like it really is written for you. And I think even, 5 months ago, I was in such an uncomfortable place, like work wise, financially, love life. Like I was probably rock bottom. And the way things have moved for me 5 months ahead now, looking back, I'm like, wow, like the dots were joined. But you have to move with intention, and you have to actively just do your best every day, and really like give your heart to the things that charge you, and like just do your best, even on the days that it's so hard. Like some days my best is not my actual best on the perspective of like the roof, where like this is my best, if that's making sense. Some days I can only give this much, but that's my best for that day. And it's just about every day just doing your best. Moral of this podcast, you look at your life as this bubble, and you really sometimes have to dissect what is worth letting go of, what is worth keeping, and creating that room for yourself to allow the right person, the right job opportunity, the right growth to happen within you, because you've created that room. Sometimes it's overcrowded and there's too much energy dispersion in places there does not need to be any energy dispersion. And I'm really trying to be a lot more set in my ways about that. So yeah, thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed. I will be seeing you next week. You've got my word. I pinky swear. Mwah.